This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Right out of the door!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Because I'm the Mark and I'm awesome!
The Guru.
Today I'm going to break it down for all you simpleton sweat hogs listening out there in Can Crusher Nation. I don't mean to come out here week after week and toot my own horn, but toot.
And the English Professor.
It is I, the English professor from the County of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome back to another edition of Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez. On paper, we're starting late because of me. So see guys, if you make fun of yourself when you guys jump on the bandwagon saying, oh, it's Mark's fault, it doesn't really matter because I started off saying we're the one late, but nobody really knows we're late because it'll still be scheduled on time to be distributed at the same time. Welcome to the show, the English Professor and the Glorious Guru. Gentlemen, you guys look like you're in hell, both of you. You're both in like this dark, dungy area.
You can't just let us make fun of you. That's the thing with him, Chad. All right, yeah, we're late because of me, so let's get that out of the way. And both you guys look like shit this morning.
But see, that doesn't work. You don't get to dime yourself out and think you're not going to catch shit. I had to literally go down and wake him up because he was passed out on his porch. My dog wanted to pee on him, and I was like, no, that's not right for the dog.
That's the story why. It's not just because I got home at, 2 o'clock in the morning and I overslept. No. It's got to be that some outrageous something or other and you needed a crane to pull me up and the dog, yeah. See, that's why I nip everything in the bud. Oh, so
gentlemen, how's your week?
Oh, because we're all not going to talk to each other now.
Yep, we're all mad at each other. Last week, I think it was, I wasn't in a good place with my little baseball team. And if you go back and listen, I may have called them a bunch of animals. Terrible thing to say. I'd like to take that back. They had a really good game. Did they make a single play? No, they did not. Did they hustle, though? Yes. And I was super proud of them. Obviously we don't pitch. You hit off a tee. That's why it's T-ball. But someone still plays the mound. But if, the kid on the mound ran up and got his glove down and it went between his legs, there was a second baseman or a shortstop backing him up. If the second baseman or shortstop put his glove down and it got past him, there were left and right fielders backing them up. I've never seen that team gel like that. It took the whole godforsaken season, but we got there. We have a few games left, and hopefully they keep up this good behavior and team effort.
That's what it's about. At least they're learning.
Yes.
Some people are slow learners. Look at me. Right?
Oh, shit.
I had you asked a question, so you get to go last this week, Chad. I had a busy week. There is a ton, and I really mean this, there is a ton in the hopper for Can Crushers. There is interviews abound for the next, week that it's going to be ready. I got an amazing package last night. When I got home, and Callie said it weighed a lot, and she wasn't lying. It weighed a ton, about a potential sponsor, and they sent us some stuff to try and promote here in the near future. So that's pretty awesome. I'm part of a lot of baseball this week. Didn't watch a lot of wrestling. In fact, last night's wrestling was the only thing I watched this week IWC event. Excited for tonight's wrestling. And I went to therapy Friday afternoon again. And
like mental therapy?
It could be, but I also started my sleeve.
Oh, okay.
Ink therapy, which is
by mental therapy. I was thinking you went to physical therapy because of your shoulder.
Nope, that starts Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
But thank you for bringing that up, because here's my story and why on paper we're late, but nobody really knows. We went to IWC last night, and we'll talk about that. I get home, 1:30. I'm in bed by 2 o'clock because Kelly and I actually talked because she came home from camping. Talked about how everybody's weekend was so far. Ethan's still not home. He's either in Canada or New York or on his... I really don't know where the hell he's at. Somewhere with his grandma and grandpa.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that like you sold him to slave labor or some shit, or
No.
sold his organs or something. Okay.
No. So I get home, and boom, I'm definitely out by 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock, somebody brought a jackhammer into the bedroom and was just going to town on my shoulder. The worst pain in my life, this pinched nerve, tendon issue, whatever the hell I have going on. I'm sitting in bed like Peter Griffin. I know he holds his knee, but I was holding my shoulder and just, icy hot and everything. Didn't touch it. I put my wrap on it. It didn't do anything. Kelly's like, what's wrong? I'm like, my shoulder. Duh. I mean, it's not, I just don't want to sit up and make these awesome sounds without you helping me make these sounds, but it just didn't work.
Those are the worst, man. Like right between the shoulder blades or on the shoulder blade. There's no relief. There's no comfortable position.
Nope.
I felt badly for you.
Yeah, do you really?
Yeah, I do. How are things, Chad?
Well, I turned 1/3 of Al Snow's true age this week. In 49. Had a good week. Had a nice quiet week. Got a stand-up arcade game, NBA Jam, which my little brat of a son, who I'm thinking on selling, has beaten me a couple of times in it.
In fact, you told us a story, so let's hear that story on air.
So I get the thing put together on Friday. It was delivered, and he gets home, and I didn't have it quite ready, and he was irritated at me, but I got it ready in about a half hour. And the first game we play, he beats me. Beats me by 1 point.
How's it feel?
But shut up. The worst part about it is, this was one of those 1.2 seconds, pass the ball in, lob it up in a Hail Mary. Yeah, he switched it for a 1 point win.
That is the reason why I bought the Odroid. That system was over the Walmart, and Kelly and I were looking at it, and I'm like, man, this would be fun to have in the studio. I would love the hell out of this game, this, that, and the other. And then I thought, I was a grown-up for this 30 seconds. I said, well, if it's that much, I got to be able to get something more. And it brought up the whole Odroid thing, and then you heard that experience, and I played that a little bit this week, and but yeah, that NBA Jam edition is where the whole thing came from, because it's a 4-player arcade game. I can't wait. We can have a Can Crusher tournament or something at your house.
It is a lot of fun, and here's what the kicker, and I didn't know it. A lot of these games that are these stand-up arcade games, they have online communities and updated things like rosters and all kinds of shit attached to them. So it's kind of like a video game from today, where you can go on, do all these things, get these get the different cheat codes and save your information and compete for this or that. It's a whole freaking server system of them.
No way.
That's why I'm liking it. I'm having fun. Right now in the nation, I'm ranked like 75th or something like that with my record.
For real? You're up to 75 already?
I'm like 10-2, leading the league in scoring.
Wow.
Defense, not so much.
That game's not about defense, though.
No.
Not at all. I really like the idea that you can play with today's people and still have, John Stockton and Karl Malone on the game, too. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you can get any code you can find works in it from before.
Oh, sweet. Maybe there'll still be another one in the studio.
But I actually have some wrestling news from Vinny and I. We decided after a long talk that Can Crushers and its littlest, whatever the hell you call them, correspondent,
all right,
is we are going to be attending Best in the World Ring of Honor.
Are you guys?
Nice.
We decided to pull the tickets and go down to it.
That's awesome. No, you're legit the only one that can since it's on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And you don't work or do anything. I'm saying that nicely, though.
No, you're not. You're being a dick.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. It just that's awesome. I'm jealous, but with what we're doing the week before, and then 2 weeks before that, and then a week before that, June and July for Can Crushers is crazy. We're very busy. So
and our tickets, as I sent you guys, our tickets are purchased for the Legends of Hamburg wrestling event.
That's awesome.
So we got that. That is expanding. They've added some more people there. I gotta say, they're all over the fucking place with people that they're bringing in for this. From older guys to independent to ECW to a bunch of the Samoan Dynasty they're bringing in.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. And then one that we don't have tickets to yet, but we're pretty damn close to pulling the trigger. Celeb Fest 2, the names that they're adding, and it's daily. So I'm excited about that in October. And then, of course, WrestleCade in November, that those names are just booming too. I don't know that if you saw it, Chad, that Sting has been officially announced.
Oh wow, I did not see that. The last one I had seen was the Chris Masters, the Master Lock.
Chris Adonis now, but yeah, in NWA.
We saw him, was it with Big Time?
We did see him with Big Time, that's right.
Terrific athlete.
Yeah.
Incredible shape. Yeah.
I think WWEF just didn't use him right.
Yeah.
I really, and I don't know his past. I really don't. Maybe today's not a day to look in the past. Quickly, Chad, how is Matilda doing? I know it's not her name, but it's going to be.
Oh my God, growing. She's got her feet and under. She's a lot more coordinated, so she's fucking chasing everybody around the house.
Nice.
Yeah, she goes straight for the ankles.
Sweet. I saw her downtown this past week, just chilling in the car, so that was nice, but I need to come up and play with her overall. So, by the way, guys, I know it's Sunday, but when you're listening to this, happy Memorial Day. Know what this holiday means and say thank you to somebody like Chad. So happy Memorial Day.
Yep. you know, I tend to get corrected and told the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and I understand the difference. And typically when you thank somebody like Chad will tell you, hey, look, this is for those men and women who didn't make it back. I understand all that. Regardless, I want to say thank you, Chad. And thanks to all the veterans who put their lives on the line.
Right.
I appreciate it, guys.
Do you guys want to go in order? Because as I said,
it probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, good. And it saves me because I can go Raw results, then I can type in NXT results all on my phone. I'll add bits and pieces of what I think and what I expect. But John and I went to IWC last night, and we're gonna cover that in the second section. And first, let me say it was amazing to be back in an event. And Chad, I guess your first event will be the ROH then. No, your first event will be the Dubois show, essentially.
Yes.
But we'll be in a different role and stuff like that. So I don't know if you'll get the same experience. You'll get a different fun experience. You're just not going to get the experience of, hanging out in the crowd. So I'll just pause there and save all that reaction for the IWC. All right, John, Monday Night Raw.
I don't know when the last time was that I said this. This might have been my favorite show of the week.
Probably 2 years ago.
Maybe. Yeah, I thought this had several good matches on it. I thought Charlotte versus Asuka, they're never going to put on a bad match. Charlotte wins again. We kind of see where this is going. I just think these women need another big match, a big payoff, and kind of a Stone Cold Rock thing, where you never beat me, you never beat me, you never beat me. And then The Rock finally beats him. Asuka needs a win over Charlotte at some point when it really matters on a grand stage for a championship, maybe, or at least like a contender spot. Asuka finally needs that big win over Charlotte. I see some complaints online, like it seems like they always fight each other. And let's not forget, guys, Flair and Steamboat literally thousands of times, and it was never bad. I can watch Charlotte and Asuka probably thousands of times, and it'll never be bad.
I want to bring up, as I'm scrolling through this, how many times are we really going to get Sheamus against Humberto? Like, is anybody clamoring on Monday nights for this? Are they just saying, listen, we're going to see Humberto until he gets the championship from Sheamus? Is that really what we're going to see? Are they, okay, the kid's out of college now, the semester's over, because you notice he leaves wrestling from, August until May. He's gone. And then we see him so much. And this is what we're seeing with him. Is he getting the title? Is that what, just give it to him so we can say he got the goddamn title, because it means nothing right now.
I say no. I think they're still kind of testing the waters with him to see what we think of him.
We hate him.
Yeah. He just doesn't. He's a terrific athlete. I mean, he really is. Lacks
character.
Whatever the hell, yeah. As Jim Ross would say, whatever the hell it is, he just doesn't seem to have it.
He's a supporting character, but this is getting when Sheamus comes on, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom because Humberto is coming on. It's okay. This is too much.
Yeah. Are we seeing the dwindling of Baszler and Jack since they lost the titles, because they can't do a damn thing right, John? The only thing they're doing right is beating people up in the WWF right now.
Yeah, they are beating people up there. They even lost their tag team championship in our promotion. But they're still a formidable unit in our promotion. In real life, though, things aren't going well. I get what they're trying to do here, but It's like you say, Mark, on Raw they're one thing, and on SmackDown there's something else. Like, why are they so stupid on Raw? You know, she tells Reginald, Shayna does, don't come out. You come out, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. Why is he out there all of a sudden? There was no motivation for him to come out. Like, they had the advantage. If you want to tell us he's in love with Nia, fine. Show me Nia, like, getting her face stomped so that he wants to come out and console her, help her. He just starts walking down there for no reason. And it's like, well, you have to leave. How many times are there explosions in pro wrestling? And this one pyrotechnic thing is enough to, oh, no, and get rolled up? It's just not believable. These women are monsters. They beat the tar out of everybody. And Firecracker suddenly lost the match for them. Such bullshit.
You know, maybe his motivation for coming out this time was her saying, you come out, I'm going to beat your ass. Maybe that was his motivation.
Maybe he's into that. Yeah. Maybe you're right.
I mean,
S&M? Is that what it is?
Maybe.
And what did you guys think of the Drew and Kofi ending in no contest? Are we going to, this is my tease, are we going to get possibly another Kofi run?
I was feeling that. I really was. Yeah. Deservedly so.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the backlash, no pun intended, that McMahon took after having Kofi get crushed in 8 seconds and then not even get a fucking rematch to get crushed in, I think it's kind of driving this one. They can make a, regardless of how you want to turn it, a black world champion and a black challenger. This is going to be a first.
Okay.
And if they have him win it, that would make Kofi the first 2-time champion.
Yeah.
I think it's a way to spin it because Brock Lesnar is holding him up for more money because that's the only match that anybody wants to see Lashley with. Why not have a Kofi thing go on there?
Oh, you just read my notes because I got a question last week. The question must have came in as we were recording or something, but let me give you my spin on this and then I'll ask the question from, I forget, but it's in my notes. So Kofi does get this again. Is it a way to bring Lesnar back so he loses again to set up Lashley and Lesnar at SummerSlam? Or, I don't know, SummerSlam might be way too fast now.
Yeah.
But Survivor Series maybe.
It could be. I mean, you don't know because we're not hearing the damn thing go on with Lesnar.
I hope not. I've had about enough for that guy. I think we all have. I hope we don't see him again, to be honest with you, in a wrestling ring.
All right, well, here comes my question, and I didn't write down who it was from. It was from another podcast. I think it was the Jofo Wrestling. The guys across the seas sent us in. I believe it was. Does wrestling really need Brock Lesnar?
No.
I agree. No. Good heel, gets legitimate heat by doing very little. Just a cocky smile. I often go back to his match with Goldberg, where Goldberg either shoulder blocked him or pushed him and dropped him. And he had a look of disbelief. The guy does a good job telling a story with his face and his eyes. I've had about enough. Evidently, because I don't know, evidently he's a terrific athlete. But it's a 2-move set. Takes about, 45 to 90 seconds, and then it's over. Once in a great while. You know, we used to get those 30-second matches for a reason and they meant something. It's just, that's too much with him.
I'm going to go complete opposite of both of you. I'm going to...
Big surprise.
No, because he's a star. Am I wrong on saying that?
No. He's a recognizable name.
Cross-branded star. Give me another one on Raw. He goes to Raw this time because that's where Lashley is. Does Raw have a star right now? Essentially, Roman Reigns is a star on SmackDown.
Right.
And are we going to see that for the 5 millionth time? I doubt it. Because we want to see, or people want to see, I don't know if we do, want to see Lesnar against Lashley. At this point right now, Raw needs him. Do I want him? No. But I think they need him because, I don't know, we're trending higher in Japan, this is true, than Raw is in the world. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Now, you make a good point about Brock Lesnar and his stardom. Bobby Lashley is a great wrestling champion. Great athlete, terrific look. I don't know that he crosses over into other forms of entertainment or brings in, another base. Take MVP away from him, and you've got a pretty good cocky heel, but not as good as he is with MVP talking for him. Again, great wrestling champion, but probably not that crossover superstar that Lesnar is. And maybe you're right, Mark. Maybe a legitimate win over Lesnar kind of propels Lashley to a different level. So the wrestling fans in us would like to see somebody like Bobby Lashley. But again, especially WWE, of all brands in the world, it's always been about crossover promotion and, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of crossover promotion, WWE, rumors floating around with WWE in talks with New Japan Pro Wrestling for talent exchange. The first thing that come out, that was that there was talks, and then it was there's a lot of WWE talent that want to work in New Japan. There is zero New Japan talent that wants to go to WWE.
Why, Chad? What you dig the dirt? Why would this be?
What I have seen, and some of the wrestlers, I'll go on their Instagrams and stuff like that to see, what's being said over there. It's when the Japanese are saying it's cartoonish and it's not going to be worth anything more than a trip over there. And I'm not dissing Japanese in any way, but when they do their presentation, Tiger Mask, who was the other one? Liger. And it's a presentation. It's part of the character. It's not 45 minutes of the fucking show.
Right.
And then it was verified, or I should say not verified. Then it came out late last night when I was watching another wrestling pay-per-view I'll talk about, that the talks aren't there for that specific reason. There's nobody in New Japan that wants to go there. And it was also mentioned on there because of how they're treating and have treated over the last couple of years, the last Japanese that they've gotten from New Japan and stuff like that, from Asuka to Kairi Sane to Shinsuke. Nobody has a desire to put themselves in that shit.
Can you blame them at this point?
No.
We've talked to legends that have echoed. That's the last time I'll say it today. That have echoed that sentiment.
Yeah, we're not naming this one Echo Chamber or whatever the hell the last one was named. We got to go in a different direction now, Mark.
That was the weekly WWF show, so we can't. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, let's transition to NXT.
I was just gonna mention Riddle versus Woods.
Okay.
Xavier Woods, great match, really, really good match. He wins with an RKO. Kind of telling the story of his partnership with Randy Orton. I don't know if we've seen it, but Orton and Riddle versus the New Day makes the most sense. Good. You're not going to get a bad match out of those two guys. And then almost comes out for AJ Styles match, and I was reminded of the Big Show early on when he was saying, I saw an interview where he said, I'm trying not to kill anybody. Back when wrestling was kind of coming out and they were on MTV and other stuff, kind of doing behind the scenes stuff. And he said, I'm just trying not to kill anybody. And if you look at maybe some of his early stuff, he's pulling back because he would have killed people. But not to this degree. I mean, almost does not look comfortable out there. I know he just had to chase guys away like Riker and what the hell is his name?
Elias,
but it looked a little messy.
He looked messy holding the door during WWE Raw Underground.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
NXT. Who wants to start on NXT?
John.
I thought NXT was a solid show. I'll stick to what I said, that I thought Raw was probably my favorite show of the week. But I enjoyed the Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez match against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. I had a feeling Moon and Blackheart would win. I thought this was going to create more of a rift between Kai and Gonzalez because they kind of tease that, and then they throw us a curve. They lose, but then they come back with a vengeance and beat the hell out of their opponents after the match. I love what they did where I think Shotzi was being held by Dakota Kai. Her face was against a ring post, and then Gonzalez picks up Moon like in a snake eyes outside the ring and throws her into the ring post where Blackheart's face was too. And it was just kind of a mashing of faces against a ring post. Devastating. So now are they breaking up or not? This is a great way to kind of keep that story going a little bit longer, give us another week or two out of it. See, look, I told you we were fine. Now we're beating up people worse than ever. I may steal that for our show. Go ahead. Sorry.
But it's in the back of your mind. You're thinking of that now, that you know how wrestling works. And this is always going to be like, oh, they just had that one bump and they're just going to heal it up and everything. But you're always going to be thinking about that. And they lost, though. That's still the point, is they lost. That at some point, this match will come back around and say, hey, remember when we fought these guys that we could have got another title shot or something?
Again, please.
This is... Apparently the dog peed on the ground or something. I don't know. This match is going to be pretty important, I think, is it's going to be brought back to the headline.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, we lost this match. Had we won, we'd be further up the rankings. And maybe that creates some sort of rift between them later on. But as of right now, good part of this story and a good match, as you'd expect from those four.
All right. Chad?
Yeah, I enjoyed this match. Very competitive. Like you said, I kind of thought that Ember and Shotzi were going to win. Kind of a nice twist. I think what they're going to end up doing is pushing them into another title match down the road, and their rift is going to come after that match.
I agree. Yep. John, then you get Bobby Fish, homeboy of the Can Crushers, against Pete Dunne.
Excellent. I mean, as always, what else can you say? What would you expect out of those two guys? The story here is they're building up Pete Dunne, and maybe this is something that, because after the match, we're kind of teased with the idea that, man, is Fish going to be on the shelf again? Because then he had Lorcan like stomp his hand or his arm after the match. Yeah. So is this guy who just got back going right back on the shelf? Like, the Yankees DH, for example. Stanton comes back, pulls his schlong and goes right back on the aisle. I'm sorry. I don't mean to go off. I
thought the schlong pulling was in that Pirates Mets thing that happened earlier in the week.
It was the Cubs.
Cubs.
Pirates Cubs. Sorry. I just saw that for the first time last night. How the fuck do you miss a total tag on a guy, nobody at first, overthrow the nobody at first, and the guy goes to second? This is like, this could have been, if it didn't exist, this could have been the beginnings of who's on first, what's on second shit.
We need to pause now and talk about that. So many wrong things happen in that. Okay, so to break it down in baseball, understandably the first baseman comes in. Cool. Second baseman should have shifted over to cover first. That takes care of first. Turn around and throw him the ball, get the hell out of the inning. Shortstop, in case you do have an overthrown, should be covering second base in case he heads off. No reason in hell you should have tried to get the out at home because it's not a forced play.
And the run does not count unless Baez is safe at first. So even after the overthrow, why he threw to the catcher, I don't know. The runner slides into home. That run still doesn't count until Baez gets to first. And if they do exactly what you said with the second baseman and shortstop shifting, you have a guy covering first or just, the first base, just haul ass down the first base line, touch the bag, and I just couldn't believe that. I've never seen anything like that. And the pitcher stuck up for his teammate. I couldn't name a single guy on the Pirates, but the pitcher stuck up for his teammate and said, that's a whole team thing. There should have been 8 of us yelling at him to just touch first base. So the center fielder needs to come running in like they're 8 years old and say, touch first base.
Yeah.
Get out of here. That guy, I'm sorry. I wish him good things in life. He should be released. That first baseman needs to go.
Where?
I honestly, when I saw this, I was laughing so hard because, John, I instantly thought of your coaching rant from last week. All I could see, I'm picturing, I just closed my eyes and I'm picturing John running from the dugout and tackling his own first baseman and beating his ass. That's all I could see.
Nice.
I've been pushed to the brink, and that's when I just kind of like go take some deep breaths. Yeah.
Back to NXT is my cousin Mercedes Martinez taking on Zeta.
Nothing stood out to me about this. It seems like it was kind of one-sided, right? Mercedes gets the win.
Yeah. Yep.
Showcase match.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next part, I did see highlights of this. LA Knight ruins Cameron's moment with DiBiase. This was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I hated this, to be honest with you. I just thought this was so dumb. I don't get what it sets up between Grimes and Knight. Are they turning one of these guys babyface?
I almost think Grimes is babyface right now with the shtick that he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is opening up LA Knight. Like we've talked about, he just isn't quite the same, and they're giving him a little something. And what it's really geared towards is they're bringing back the $1 million belt.
They are. Which means Virgil should come back then, too.
No.
Oh.
No. The thing that I get out of this, and DiBiase in that laugh, even at his age, he can still hit that shit like it was 30 years ago.
Bro, I know what you're talking about. I do.
I cannot wait to meet him in November.
I think he's having the most fun out of everybody in this whole segment that's going on. Like over the last couple of weeks or everything. I think he's in a good place and he's like, I'm just going to go collect some of WWE's money and have fun with this because he looks happy. He looks like he's having a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, good for him.
I think the only one who's been in a better situation than him was old Iron Sheik sitting home and WCW paying him for 2 years to sit home because they forgot to cancel his contract.
Yep. Frankie Monet takes on Cora Jade. I loved Taya Valkyrie. Love Taya Valkyrie. Man, I hate Frankie Monet. Hate Frankie Monet.
Yeah, I got nothing on this one.
The match was okay. I like her. I'm curious to see where it goes. I like the idea of the character. Some hard-hitting stuff in the corner. Nothing we've never seen before. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing.
When you debut somebody, they need something. You know, what is her? I can't remember the Japanese woman they just brought in NXT. You've never seen anything like this in your life, and you're like, she's okay.
Saray.
Yes, thank you, Saray. And same with Frankie Monet. She's fine, but it's not anything we haven't seen before. At the very least, you have to give us a finisher. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Razor Ramon did the Diamond Death Drop, but Vince would act like the Razor's Edge. Oh my God, I've never seen that before. But at least his first match, we see what he can do, you know, what his finisher is. I don't know that did Frankie Monet have a finisher? Nothing stood out to me about this match. Nothing stood out to me about it.
Then you get Karrion Kross against Finn Balor.
What can you say, man? Excellent match. Match of the year candidate. The build-up here was done perfectly. Two guys that never lost that title, really. Now fighting for it. Balor's incredible. I don't know where he goes from here. It's a clean loss. You know, of all the things, when you think of all the false finishes these days and high spots, just, you know, an old-fashioned Ridgeway argument, smack in the back of the head is what this guy's finisher is. And I think it's great.
I love this match. I just wish it would have been longer.
Yeah. This is a pay-per-view match again. And I know we always say, I'm shocked that this match was on TV again. I didn't watch it, but just reading, I'm like, oh man. Essentially, SmackDown was before AEW by 2 hours, so we'll go to SmackDown.
All right.
John, you said you liked it. I was asleep. Now, this is real. Friday we went and we pulled the trigger on HBO Max because we're going to have it for probably a month so we can watch the Friends reunion. Well, we started watching it. I fell asleep 15 minutes in. Kelly said it was phenomenal. So that's got to be on the docket for me to watch this year so we can cancel HBO Max.
Yeah, I did enjoy SmackDown for a change. I hadn't really watched it closely in a long time. Tuned in because we knew AEW was going to come up next. I think if anybody else experienced what I experienced, this ended up working out for WWE. Because if you haven't watched SmackDown in a while, and you thought, well, I'll watch some wrestling before I watch wrestling, kind of as the appetizer, this was a good show. The Usos versus the Street Profits, good, solid tag team match. I'm happy to see the Usos back together again. Montez Ford is a little too much. The promos, the overselling. I mean, he's like Adrian Adonis times Mr. Perfect with the flips. It's just way over the top. still, excellent tag team match. I'm glad the Usos won. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman is just, how many times do we need to cut to them with, Reigns with the sourpuss on his face, like he got called to the office, and Heyman's the principal. Oh, God, I had it with these guys. I really have. They've, because it's too much. It's just too much. The Usos are a great team, but Roman Reigns, and why'd you walk out of the room with your right foot first? We use our left foot. Man, that ruined my day. Like the whole over-controlling, overbearing psychopath it's run its course.
We get a return, essentially, on SmackDown as Carmella comes back from her, I want to say, month hiatus. She was pushed heavily 2 months ago, comes back as a match, and then she disappears again, but she's back and takes on Bianca Belair. What's going on with Carmella? I'll ask both of you that. They just don't have a spot for her?
I think that last gimmick with her fell as flat as Tennille Dashwood did when they cut her off, when they were having her as a sex symbol on the beach and all those vignettes for 2 months, and then brought her back and dropped it after 2 weeks. That's how I think this Carmella thing has fallen flat. It's just...
I think there's potential. Like when she came out, I thought, man, this is racy. The outfit was kind of revealing. I honestly thought she's supposed to be a stripper, But the music, the intro music's obviously different now. It's not the F-A-B-U-L-O-U-S. Yes, it's not that. It almost had like a gangster movie feel to it. And then her finisher's the Code of Silence. She's supposed to be, again, she fooled me while watching this. I'm like, yeah, she's Italian. She's from Staten Island. She's neither of those things. But she plays the part so well. There has to be something for her. I know I've said bell to bell, she's not the greatest in the world. She looked much better in this match. This was a good, solid match. I loved Bayley's commentary. I loved Carmella's viciousness. I hope this doesn't go to waste because there is something there. I don't know quite what it is, but this is a good evolution of this character. And it would be good to bring back with Carmella based on who she's kind of playing now in this new character, James Ellsworth.
That would be amazing.
It would be a perfect time to bring James Ellsworth back with her. Yeah. I think Michael Cole, I don't know if he meant to say this, but he said Blanca gets the win. And Bayley tore into him. Blanca, are you stupid, Michael Cole? Blanca gets the win. She's great heel commentary.
She's really great with Michael Cole. Their little shtick that they have is really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I just want to see the match, her and him, and I just want to see her kick his ass.
Is it going to happen? You think
it has to? It has to.
Yeah. I hope. I hope. What else did you get out of SmackDown, boys? This way we can shift over to AEW, which will be quick.
The Rollins promo was excellent. Threw me for a loop when, he beat the hell out of Cesaro and they had to stretcher him out. And he says, it was kind of Cesaro's fault. But I really, I have to tell you whose fault it really is, who deserves part of this blame. I'm like, oh, wow, he's going to say himself. Maybe I'm old and slower now, but I fell for it. He's like, it's your fault. You people put this thought in his head that he could actually compete with me. I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was really good.
I just still can't figure out who in the flying fuck is giving Seth Rollins his clothes.
You brought up
I've seen better paintings come out of my son's kindergarten class than those fucking suits that he is wearing. Vinny brought home this. He colored inside the lines. His picture was great.
Nice.
He got an award, got a star from his teacher. All this. And then I see a fucking millionaire on TV that it looks like he walked through the back with a white suit. Hey, slap me with that fucking can. Hey, slap me with that one. You, throw that one at me.
Wouldn't that be amazing? You're sitting in preschool and Seth Rollins walks in, you're allowed to just dumping paint on him. We would have went nuts. The three of us. Had to be like Ric Flair or even Tully or somebody. Yeah.
Paint a suit, yeah. The Mysterios, great promo. Very good match, too. I had made the mistake of watching A Bronx Tale again earlier in the day, and that father-son relationship in that movie always gets me. And, oh, my God, I could cry right now. Just, that Dom is doing good things, and his dad's so proud of him, and they're hugging and kissing. I'm like, go beat some ass now, guys. Yes. And then Rey Mysterio got jumped. Nobody knows by whom. And Dominic went out there and took on the Dirty Dogs by himself. And I thought there was going to be a title change. I thought they were just going to kick his ass and, win the championship right back. But then Rey comes out and they successfully defend. Good emotional roller coaster of a story there. That kid has such a bright future. If this is him already now, again, other guys have had legs up in the business because their dads were wrestlers. I don't know anybody at that age that was as good as he is who's a second or third generation wrestler. Not Bret Hart, not The Rock. I don't care who it is. This kid is amazing.
Yeah. We poked fun at him in his first couple matches, but
right.
He has grown in the year. He really has grown in the year. Chad's got nothing. All right, so we'll
My dog just came down with a roll of toilet paper behind her.
Good. That's always fun. I hope you get the whole freaking package one of these days sitting in your kitchen shredded. 64 fucking rolls. Gone. He leaves now. That's Max. So we're going to transition over to AEW. And little backstory about how much I know, and I'm not even going to pull up the results about AEW. I get to John's house yesterday, prior to the IWC event, and you're at your training class. So I give the kids hugs and loves and everything because I haven't seen them in a year. And I say, hey, I get their life story in a matter of 15 seconds that I haven't seen them, which is good because I needed that. Then I asked Sylvan, hey, buddy, did you stay up to watch AEW last night because I was asleep? He's like, yeah. And well, what happened? And we get there. Well, we get to the same point of the, yeah. He's like, it was just a good go-home show. And I'm like, nothing big? He's like, no. I'm like, any title changes? I knew Miro was defending the title. When you don't have him entertained, the night before, essentially, your pay-per-view, you might lose some buys on the pay-per-view.
It's a good point. I thought, this was an opportunity for them. We're going to get it because I'm really looking forward to some of the matches, but this was an opportunity to maybe, for people who are on the fence, to say, yeah, I'm going to fork over the cash for this. You kind of, I think, maybe lost a few of those people. There was nothing bad about it, but nothing that made you say, holy cow, this is to be continued tomorrow. I need to, or, Sunday, I need to get this pay-per-view.
And essentially, before Chad chimes in, essentially, it really is the last wrestling before your pay-per-view. Because normally you're on Wednesdays, SmackDown comes on, and that might have somebody's attention that really hinders you buying the pay-per-view because you're like, oh man, the Usos just came back and they're kicking ass and taking names again. You don't have this. 11 o'clock Friday night until Sunday at 7. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to a local event, stuff like that. But I mean, mainstream TV, there was nothing. So that should be the freshest thing in your mind. And if your freshest thing is the bomb, it's not in a good way.
I didn't watch AEW until last night.
Saturday.
It was rebroadcast. This was, I almost felt like they didn't want to do anything because they were worried of somebody getting hurt. This wouldn't have, I'm getting the pay-per-view tonight just because I happen to get paid a couple of days early and I'd like to watch it. This didn't really do anything for the pay-per-view, at all. What else was I going to say about this? I got to bring up, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen the Spanish announcer, controversy. John, did you hear about this?
No.
During the Sheeta match, Spanish announcer was caught on mic making fun, mocking her racially stereotypes.
I read
on
that.
Air.
I read that as I was pooping before I called you guys. You want to bring down the fourth curtain, the fourth wall, I mean. Yeah, and I'm like, holy shit. Literally.
Yeah, it wasn't good. He was basically doing the one guy said, hey, imitate her, and he started doing I'm not going to do it, but, you know, the mocking of Orientals and throwing in the Oscar shit that McMahon has her doing. Needless to say, he was fired Saturday. Officially fired. So, these fucking people are stupid.
I mean, come on, man. You have a hot... I don't know if he knew the mic was hot or didn't or it wasn't. Whatever the case may be, man, you're mic'd up. You have a headset. I mean, you shouldn't even be doing that sort of thing like in your private life when nobody's around. Why in the world would you do that on the job?
Right.
Put her up to the room and put her in the room.
Yeah. So that was AEW. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
No. Without looking at notes. Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, without looking at notes, is there anything that even comes to mind as just to say, oh, that was a great segment, that was a great match? There wasn't.
Are we going to do predictions for the pay-per-view?
Yeah, in the third segment.
Okay.
As we always do, Chad. My God.
Up until now, I didn't have to come down and get you off of the porch to do the damn podcast, but that went out the window. There's always a first.
One flippin' day that I sleep in. It's not that there's sometimes I don't know that you're fishing in Manitoba or if you're whatever the hell you're doing.
See, you dog me for going fishing for, I think, John's last year, which I still left. The liner was when I went hunting it, I was trying to provide for my money or provide for my family by tapping into my inner Skinner or something like that.
Right. Exactly. Or we get a 15-minute delay in between breaks because we have to eat a bag of chips and grind the world coffee. I mean, come on. In essence, I was 10 minutes. 10 minutes to our recording time. We've had shit go wrong that we've been hours. But I get the most slack for 10 minutes. All right, touche, boys. Remember that. Remember, just because you're both trash, no, that we're not there yet. Where we are, though, is sweet gear, sweet apparel. sweet collar and elbow lockups.
Yeah, hats, hoodies, T-shirts. What?
Throwing the ball to either one of you and dead silence. I should put a cricket in there if I'm going to edit this correctly.
But it's that bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hats, hoodies, T-shirts, pants, eye patches, vests. He's got it all, and it's great stuff. And we have a promo code, Chad, that if you want to save some money, you can use this promo code. What is it, Chad?
Can Crushers, all one word, capital C in can, capital C in Crushers.
And you see what I did there? I threw it to Chad, so he knew to jump in. I'm going to throw it to you, Mark, so you know to jump in. When you use that promo code, Mark, how much do you save?
You save 10%, John, which Chad is essentially what?
John's favorite two things to pay: shipping and handling and parking.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So here comes Al Snow. When we come back, we're going to cover some IWC in the second segment and just talk about the joy it was to be back at a wrestling card.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey guys, Megan Nelson from Pittsburgh here. When I'm at an international wrestling cartel show and I like to get into some mayhem, you bet I'm going to be finding the Can Crusher guys to get into mayhem with. So many great memories and always such a good time. If you can't make it to an IWC show with Can Crushers, be sure to check out their podcast for the best updates and thoughts of that show. So with that, get ready for your next Can Crusher segment in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Can Crushers listeners. It is I, the English professor, joined by our host, Mark the Mark Martinez, and Chad, the glorious guru. We just heard from Al Snow over at Collar and Elbow. But do you know whom else we heard from, Mark, immediately following Al Snow? And that is Megan Nelson. She brought it back.
How about that? We didn't even need you for this one.
Yeah, no, not this time. No, you could have done without me.
So,
Well, Mark, be truthful. You had Megan bring it back because John's ratings are kind of dipping. So we had to get some new stuff in there.
right.
Nice change of voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is a nice change of voice. She's very persuading.
Articulate.
Oh, even better. Yeah. Normally we see Megan at IWC events. She reached out to us. Hey guys, you gonna be there? We're like, yeah. She's like, oh, that sucks. I'm not. I'm like, what? You're not going to an IWC event? She's like,
She never misses it. She never misses them.
yeah. Well, she's in Jacksonville. That's why she's missing it. She's at Double or Nothing tonight.
If you had to miss it, that's probably a reason. That's probably a good reason, is to go to the pay-per-view tonight.
Why didn't she catch a red eye and fly down there?
Right? Yeah, I thought you were a fan, Megan.
Right. So, IWC Wrestling at the Ballpark takes place last night at the Washington Wild Things Ballpark. And again, it's been a while since we've been to an event. And the day starts out by John and I, eating some wings and stuff like that. I'm giving you guys the whole experience, and it was phenomenal. That part itself covered the day, covered my heart for the day.
That commercial where they show, COVID's finally being lifted and the little kids see each other the little boy and the girl or whatever, and they hug and cry. We're big, strong, rugged, tough men, so I won't say it got quite to that point. But
it did.
It was close between me and Mark. It was close. There was some hugging and smooching going on because it had been over a year.
Yeah. So then we head to the event, and even the rain and the drizzle, John, you weren't as much as a bitch as you usually are in the cold, and I think it was because you were getting back into wrestling. I mean, it was miserable out. It rained the whole show, and it was only 45 degrees at the warmest in Washington.
Yeah, I saw the seats were wet, and I said, well, this is it. The water's cold, just jump in the pool. Just have a seat. We wiped him down. I took my jacket off. My son took his jacket off. We put our jackets on the seats. But at some point, the water soaked through the jackets and into our pants. What can you do? We got to the entryway, and my son said, I think my socks are wet already. I'm like, oh, man. I said, well, we'll deal with it. I think we're going to have a good time, and then when we get home, we'll get clean and warm.
As soon as we got to the event, of course, we get to hug Jenny Plummer, which is one of the best parts of going to IWC.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so that's enough. We get the first match, and we had a couple matches, Chad, and I know you watched a different thing, which we'll let you touch on, but we get some strange but great matches. I'll put it that way, because heel versus heel, face versus face, and we start off with the heel versus heel. Team Big League takes on the Culmination. What a great way to come back. It really was. I love this match, and let me say, the toughest person in this match wasn't involved in the match, essentially, because all the guys came out wearing pants and, warm clothes.
Some guys even wrestled in shirts. It was cold.
The dime piece came out scantily dressed, looking great. Dime piece. You can call us, as Soup would say.
It was almost like a cheeky bikini, hanging in the shorts. I thought she used to be freezing. I think she had her leather jacket on, too, still. But, leather jackets aren't really known to keep you very warm. And she took bumps in the grass and on the gravel.
Yeah.
She earned her money. That's for sure.
She did. A big win for Team Big League, as the Man Dime came out as homage to Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, he was wearing, the cowboy boots. With jeans, right? Did he wrestle in jeans?
White jeans.
Yeah, he looked like Dusty Rhodes, coming down to the ring to cut a promo in his jeans and cowboy boots. And that cowboy boot came into play later in the match.
Yeah. Drills Remy right in the head. And Remy.
That's what ends the match, yeah.
And a great match, though. Great way to start the card with a 6-man match. I liked it.
I want to say there was one point where Zack Ryder hit a devastating lariat. Not Zack Ryder, Zack Nystrom. I'm sorry.
Zack Ryder was there? What the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't tell you guys that. Nystrom. Sorry. He hits a devastating lariat. I totally botched this. The reason it's a lariat and not a clothesline is because he's from Sweetwater, Texas.
Right.
And you want to know why it was so devastating? He's from Sweetwater, Texas.
That would have been great if you got his name right.
Yeah, it would have been awesome if I got his name.
Did he have Chelsea with him?
Oh, I wish. But the dime piece is above Chelsea in my book. Above Chelsea. We had a change in the card a little bit. It might have been because of weather or something like that, but there was going to be a one-on-one match between the Lebanon Dawn and RC Dupree to see who was going to take on Andrew Palace at the end of the night in the main event for the IWC Heavyweight Championship. And then we had a 4-man tag match that was going to happen, but kind of all that got...
Well, tag matches are typically 4-man.
4-team, I mean. So we both watched something. All right. Did we go to this thing?
You fucked up. Sorry, man.
Did
Were you guys there?
No, we were still celebrating just being together. So I don't know. Nonetheless, we get a battle royal to determine who the number one contender is. And we're not going to name everybody that was in it because everybody in the world was in it. But what I like, John, and I brought this up as soon as I saw these three people that came out, we had three guys that are dubbed from Imagine crossing over to get a shot at this IWC Heavyweight Championship. You had Sideshow Psycho, the Good Neighbor John Ross, and a man that we've seen literally 30 years. I'm going to botch his name. Lucio Duvar. Yeah.
Didn't we see him at like Unimart or something after a show years ago? Yeah.
Well, first of all, there's not a Unimart left in the world, so there you go.
Right. Yeah. Had to be years ago. Yeah. Good Neighbor John. I mean, you think like if you need to borrow a cup of sugar, like he's your man?
He's cut my grass.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good neighbor.
He is a good neighbor. He really is a great neighbor. Again, I go back and listen to an Imagine show that he comes out to Mr. Rogers' song, just like dubbed up to like Eminem style. I love it. We get a turn of events in this though, John, that Tito Ork wins this. The Bosnian Bonebreaker just throttles through everybody.
Yeah. At first, he and the Lebanon Don were hanging out outside, kind of strategizing. And you're right. Then he gets in there and starts breaking bones. It came down to R.C. Dupree and the Lebanon Don and the Bosnian Bonebreaker. And we were thinking, well, this was a singles match we were going to get anyway. Why did we get this battle royal? Because the Bosnian Bonebreaker isn't winning this one. Tito Orich, it's going to be one of the two guys that were building the singles match. Boy, were we wrong. That was a nice twist where R.C. Dupree gets rid of the Lebanon Don, and then you think, oh, well, it's going to be Dupree in Palace. But it's Tito Orich who will later on in the night face the IWC Heavyweight Champion of the world, who then actually comes out to, right? Doesn't he come out at the end? Because they continue to put the beat down on R.C. Dupree.
Right.
So, yeah.
Spot of this match, though, John, because the match is 3 to 4 minutes. The Battle Royal is 3 to 4 minutes in, and all of a sudden you hear an ECW song, maybe paying a little bit of homage to New Jack. You hear it, and then all of a sudden, Hardcore Hammer Time comes out with chairs, and just they take care of everybody in the Battle Royal without throwing them over the top rope, because then that would essentially mean they would win, and we already ruined that. But I love everything that Hardcore Hammer Time is doing with this whole ECW shtick that they have going on. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, Marshall Gambino threw himself over the top rope to get away from these guys. These guys cracking everybody with these chairs. Didn't matter who you were. In fact, I think they hit the sexy fireman over the head, which I would think he's one of their buddies, but they don't care. They were out there to win. They were out there to do damage. And I think they were out there to show La Familia that, you guys want to be gangster? We could be gangster. Hooven's probably like, I'm from the streets of Philadelphia, you know? So you better check yourself.
Before you wreck yourself.
And they checked him for him. Right. Yeah, but he threw himself over the top rope. So evidently you can self-eliminate in an IWC Battle Royal. Because Bobby was right there. He was like, yo, threw yourself over. You're out. And then he even tried to like get back in the ring, but no, you're out.
Bobby Williams was the MVP referee of the night.
Premier referee in IWC for sure.
Next matchup, Queen versus Queen. And Chad, I'm going to go to you. I know you weren't with us, but you want to talk about how much soup is with predictions and just being a royal jackass? I love Aminata.
It might it's going to rain sometime this year, and he gets 1.5 points and wins by 0.04.
Yes. Yeah. Very generic in this whole match. He's like, let's go, Queen! Well, you have Queen Aminata against the Queen of the Silver Screen, so they're both queens. Put her in the headlock! Great move! I love you! Not saying anybody's name the whole time. It doesn't matter who would have won, and we'll get to that, but he was not wrong in this match.
No, I like the way he bets.
He's smarter than us.
I was thinking about Soup last night. I was looking at collectibles, wrestling collectibles, and IRS has an actual ring-worn shirt and tie and autographed and framed that he's selling. And I thought about Soup last night with seeing that. But after this description, I'm just going to cancel my order and,
Yeah.
He's along the lines of another asshole that I'll mention when we're done with this review.
Okay.
Speaking of asses, there's a point in this match where Queen Aminata sticks her ass in the Queen of the Silver Screen's face. Then she puts her face on the ropes and chokes her and says, "You want to see her ugly face?" Like she was just a mean girl. She really was.
Yeah. I love everything about Aminata. This is the first time me seeing her live. Unbelievable. I think it was a great showing by both of them. Katie keeps the title. She does. I want to fast forward to the end of the night. Okay?
That's what I wanted to do. Go ahead, Mark.
So Katie's out as we're trying. We brought two boys with us, Sylvan and his friend Max. Not my dog, Max. There's a real boy named Max. They wanted to hang around and see if we could see the culmination. I was trying to see Spencer Slade, but it got cold, it got rainy. John turned into a bitch. I still would have been standing there, but John's like, Uncle Mark needs to get home, whatever. So I'm like, hey, Katie's over there. Awesome. I'm like, I want to get my picture with her so we can hang it on the wall, bring it to the next show, have her autograph it, this, that, the other thing. All right, well, you take my picture as well and send it to me. Yes, John, we've been doing this for literally forever now. Yes, that's the way it works. Awesome. John, how did your picture turn out?
It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
How did yours
Let me guess, Mark. John fucked up your picture. He probably has the top of your heads on it.
No. He took it when I was like talking to Katie, and he might as well have taken the picture from Ridgeway to Washington, PA. I zoomed in, like he was talking to Katie, I waited till the words were done, zoomed in, got a nice profile picture.
You did.
Mine looks like, I don't know, I just rolled out of a fucking dryer, and I'm in mid-word. He takes the worst pictures of anybody I know. Never again am I going to ask you to take a picture.
Remind me of this when we go to Hamburg.
Get a child that we don't know and pay them in Bitcoin or whatever. Do not let him take it. In fact, we shouldn't take a picture for him anymore either. That's it.
Well, if this was the last picture you take for me, what a way to go out. It was a great one. I love it. I thought it came out great.
So Katie, I know you listen to the podcast. At Reloaded, may I please get a decent picture? I'll have Soup there. I'll have Jenny come over and take a picture. I'll have the main event take the picture for me. Anybody. My God. John, you got it. Really, it's a horrible picture. Compared to...
I thought you guys head to toe. I didn't know you wanted me to zoom in.
Have you seen every other picture on my goddamn wall? What ones have my feet in it?
Yeah, I didn't know that's what you were shooting for.
I can't...
So you just wanted...
Mark, you need to post that on the Can Crushers page. Post the one that you took and the one that he took.
Deal. I will.
Have a vote.
Yeah. What picture is worse?
Did you say she listens to the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I told her, I said, there's only one queen of IWC. And she said, that's right. And I said, yeah, it's the queen of the silver screen.
Yeah.
I just want to, you said she listens. I want to be careful. I think she's dreamy. I really do. Katie Arquette, just dreamy. That's why I wanted my picture taken. And you took a great one.
Thank you.
Katie, I'll just say this. I agree with John, but just remember, he's a Fairweather fan. He dumped a chick that he had the hots for like 5 years earlier this year. Cast her aside, a wrestler. Who was it, Mark? He said he doesn't have.
It wasn't Charlotte, that's for sure.
What's her name? Allison Kay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He broke her heart. So, Katie, don't take John literally. He's a fair weather person.
Last night was not fair weather. It was putrid. Next match up, the main event. We get the face versus face match. The main event versus Johnny Patch and Jace Carr. This was kind of shticky. They both were having fun in the ring. I really wanted to see where this went. This turned out to be a nice match, though. I did like it, and since it was a good match, I won't throw the whole terminology that I usually do with the main event. I'll actually pull back.
All right. Yeah, really good tag team match. Kind of one-sided. And that was pretty much dominated by the main event. The other guys kind of got some offense in. Johnny Patch went for some high-flying stuff because he's a daredevil. That kind of made fans nervous because it was raining. And he didn't, if I'm remembering correctly, there might have been one point where he climbed the ropes, but there was a point where he jumped on the ropes. And fans, you could feel the uneasiness. And there were people saying, oh, God, don't slip, don't fall. But he was flawless. But main event, just too big and powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than some spots here or there, it was dominated almost start to finish by the main event.
Yeah. It was a great match. They need to be in, and they always are, in that tag team upper echelon,
Title hunt.
Yeah, and I brought this up that this was month number 2 that the Money Shot has not defended the titles. Yeah. So we're getting on that 90-day rule that they might be stripped pretty soon.
Yeah. Next time they just have to. I would imagine they have to.
Well, Reloaded, we know all titles are on the line against the
right.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true. True. Yeah.
An amazing match. Big time Bill Collier takes on Angelic for the Super Indie Championship. John, let's spoil it a little bit, but man, I thought there was going to be a title change. And for the good in the back of my mind, but man, this was a great match. Probably my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, that's tough to say because there were a lot of good ones.
Yeah, there's another one. There's 1 and 1A again for me.
Yeah. Angelic worked on his arm, his right arm. Great storytelling. He big time had trouble going for some of the power moves. He had issues like throwing the right hand or throwing the forearms because Angelic just did a number on that arm in a lot of creative ways. So, you see the big, strong guys in the main event kind of dominate a tag team match, and you think, oh, maybe we're going to see the same thing here. I mean, he's head and shoulders above Angelic, probably has 50 pounds on him. Not the case. Angelic dominated the action because he had a game plan, and he went for it. Ultimately, though, we get a spear from Big Time. Or was it the – go ahead. Was it right hand?
Yeah, the right hand knocked him out.
But did he hit his spear, though, at one point?
He did.
Yeah, and he used the left shoulder rather than the right shoulder because the right shoulder had been so damaged. And, I think he even went for like a body slam, just a simple body slam earlier, and had trouble getting Angelic up because, the arm had been worked on so much. But, yeah, he eventually does use the injured arm, right, for that big forearm?
Yeah. Just knocks his ass out.
Yeah.
So, great match. Great match.
Good title defense.
Then we get to 3 huge matches on the card. We get Bulk Nasty against Jock Sampson in a bull rope match. The Regulators are banned from ringside.
Yeah, right.
But we know what happens when they're banned from ringside.
They show up anyway.
Yeah. Bulk had this match, hands down, until the Regulators come in and all of them hold him down until Jock touches all 4 corners. And then proceeds to bail once again.
Well, yeah, he bailed on one side, not realizing he was still tied to Bulk Nasty, and Bulk went out the other side and then pulled him into the ring post. At the start, Bulk had his wrist tied. He's ready to go. Jock is like, nope, not doing it. That guy can work a crowd. Holy cow. There was a point, Mark, where you said, okay, it's really starting to get cold. It's starting to drizzle. This sucks. I think they kind of lost the crowd a little bit. And then Jock Sampson came out. There weren't a ton of people there. It felt like a packed arena. Just the heat that guy draws. People hate his guts. And he wouldn't tie up, literally. He wouldn't tie the rope around his wrist. So Bulk came out and got him and just beat his ass all over the ballpark.
Threw him into the batting cage net. Threw the pitching net on top of him that Jock Sampson was stuck underneath a net for the longest time until Bulk just drug his ass out. This was a fun match. After the match, Bulk says he wants Jock again. After he's done beating his ass, he's coming for anybody that has a title.
Once again, though, good psychology. Like, everybody piling on top of him, on top of Bulk. What did I say to you? I'm like, no, he's still going to win. Before the touch of the 4th corner, Bulk's going to, just explode and bodies are going to go flying, and he's going to keep Jock Sampson from touching the 4th corner. And the reason I don't know who it was yelling like, Jock, hurry up. He's going to get out. I'm like, right here. He's going to blow up and send bodies flying everywhere.
LaRusso.
Not the case. And, was that LaRusso saying that? Yeah. Jock was like, well, then I better hurry up. And he touched the 4th corner. And then they all, scampered like the cowards they are.
Yeah. Now we get to the double main event, which is Can Crusher alum, Spencer Slade. You heard Two-time. Yeah. You heard him this past Wednesday putting IWC on notice along with the Impact Activision champion Josh Alexander. By the way, happy belated birthday. We didn't get to see you yesterday, but happy belated birthday. This was a technical match from start to finish. And Spencer said this during the interview, that one, he's going to take what he deserves. Okay. Maybe that fell a little bit short, but he will be noticed across the board. John, did this match just get him that much closer with a star like Josh Alexander?
Yeah, for 2 reasons. What he did after the match, where they shook hands and hugged, because it was excellent. Very quickly about the match itself, like you say, it was a great technical match. But again, excellent psychology and storytelling, building towards something, not just holding a hold for a period of time for the sake of holding a hold for a period of time. It built towards something, which is very important. But after the match, they hug it out. And I think Spencer Slade decks him from behind and then maybe hits some kind of suplex on him. And,
the angle slam.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. And then just starts, cutting this promo that it was one of those situations you can't really hear him depending on where you were sitting. Doesn't matter what he was saying. His body was telling the story. He was pumped up. So that's number 1. But number 2, what a way to kind of heal this up. Like, he's getting booed. And for those who don't know, Spencer Slade is hearing impaired. He starts cupping his ear to the crowd. Say, what? Well, I can't hear you. Can you speak up? I'm like, So he's taken this thing and kind of, made a dickheadish quality out of it. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. In all seriousness, use what the good Lord gave you, and he's got plenty. Incredible shape. And that's what I said to you, not to get off on this tangent. When he came out, you guys talked about how during the pandemic he's actually, ramped up his training. I don't hesitate to say, between 3 to 6% body fat. The guy is absolutely shredded. But when I say use what you have or use what the good Lord gave you, he's hearing impaired. He makes light of it. He uses that in his wrestling heel persona. And the match was solid. And the match was my match of the night. Women's match for me was second. But, yeah, this topped my card.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I said 1 and 1A. And then you can throw, if you want to throw 1C. I love the card in general. And then we get to the main event, which is Andrew Palace against Tito Orich for the IWC Heavyweight Championship. And Palace helped somebody earlier, and essentially that somebody helps him at the end, and we get a hell of a nod of what I think we're going to see here in the near future.
Yeah. RC Dupree comes running out after a successful title defense. It didn't look like he had much of a chance in this match. Again, good storytelling, the Bosnian Bone Breaker, using like some maybe Miro type of offense. He was Miro.
Rusev?
Rusev, thank you, yes. Yeah, well, like the stomp on the back, the camel clutch. There was a point where he had the camel clutch on the champ, and the champ's like dragging himself towards the ropes, and you're not sure he's going to make it. He's thinking of tapping out, and then he gets to the ropes. You're like, whew, all right, he got out of it. But then he drags him right back, and he puts it on him. He tries to put it on him again, and you think, oh, no, now this is where he cinches it in and wins the championship again. Good storytelling, good match. I wasn't sure what to expect out of Orich because we haven't seen a lot of them, especially at this level, going from essentially a bodyguard to number one contender literally in the course of, minutes, however long that battle royal was.
Yeah. He can work. He really, the battle royal is a battle royal, but in this match, I always say this, he lost the match on paper, but I think he won the night.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
I agree.
Next IWC event will be June 12th. It is Reloaded with the reset button. My favorite event of the year for IWC. Guys, check out the 20 years of IWC on the IWC network. $9.99 a month. Absolutely wonderful. And the night ended with me giving Justin Plummer a hug. I'm shocked. I think I just went into a comatose stage because I don't know. Those hugs are normally reserved for Jenny, the real owner and mainstay of IWC. But
mastermind.
Yeah, I lost my mind for a second and hugged Plummer. I don't know why.
Andrew Palace took pictures with everybody afterwards. That guy, I told him, I said, you're a real champ. And he is. It was raining. It was cold. The guy was in wrestling trunks. He took a picture with everybody that wanted a picture, including Max, including my son. Young guy there, maybe a teenager, maybe early 20s, was talking about his workout regimen with Andrew Palace and asking him what he does. And Andrew Palace kept saying to him, it doesn't matter what I do. Don't try to match me, surpass me, and also just worry about you. Be the best you that you can be. He's just a terrific human being. He really is.
He is. So that was our night. Again, I like Chad's idea. That picture of us, I'll save that for Monday to put up. So you guys can listen to the show and vote on who has the best photography skills. Chad, you brought up that you watched something random because you just found it.
Yeah, last night I kind of was tired of watching the network, and I was just like, let me see what's on Fight TV. And there was some independent wrestling. There was one show that caught my eye from Rhode Island. I'm like, what the hell? So I got it. This was really surprising. Guys, don't ask me to name anybody that was in this. But top to bottom, they were solid. There was solid matches. The guy, it wasn't, the circuit. What was that circus wrestling, Mark? A couple of years ago.
Wrestle Circus?
What's that? Wrestle Circus?
Out of Texas? That one?
I think that's...
Yeah.
It wasn't cheesy like that. It had kind of the IWC setup. Very good filming. Guys were great athletes. There was some awesome freaking moves. This guy did a Styles Clash to another guy off the top rope.
Jesus!
That looked absolutely brutal. And fans were talking about it afterwards. I watched a few minutes, and they said, that he was all right, that it was just a storyline. Very snug, very crisp moves by everybody. They had their characters there, but, nothing horrible. For a 2-hour and 20-minute pay-per-view, I paid $15 for it, and I would do it again.
So what was the organization called again?
XWP.
Okay.
Let me I'm going to double check on that real quick here. But they mentioned that their next pay-per-view is in July, and they said they had some big announcements, and I'm like thinking, okay, who's their big announcements going to be? Nothing against the guy, but Nick Gage isn't going to do it for me. For him to come on TV or come on there, they're having Kurt Angle and who the hell was the other one, guys?
Mark Henry, you said.
Mark Henry. Barring Mark is going through some physical therapy right now. In that, congratulations to him. Severe weight loss. He's in a lot better shape. Talking about having a couple of more matches back. But these guys are going to be appearing there. And they made it out to specify, and it's not just going to be in a sit at ringside comment on one match type of deal.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, well worth it for sure.
So that's maybe something that we'll have to look. July's action-packed for us, but maybe that... How far is Rhode Island from us? Just a shot in the dark that... Maybe that'd be a cool little trip someday. Not July, because, my God, we're busy.
I don't know. How far is it, John? You kind of...
I don't know.
That's definitely not the person to ask. That's definitely not the person.
No. Holy cow. I might have an idea. No, I'm not going to tell you. No, I am going to tell you. Who am I kidding? I love the sound of my voice. When I went to Detroit, I think it was 2003, Roger Clemens had 299 wins. He didn't get the win that day, but I was there to see if he would get number 300. We drove from Pittsburgh to Detroit. That was a 4-hour trip. There were fans there. There were Red Sox fans there from Rhode Island that came to see Roger Clemens pitch. And I asked them how long it took them from Rhode Island to Detroit, and they said 11 hours. So subtract, essentially, because it took me 4 hours from Pittsburgh to Detroit. It would take 7 hours, said Pittsburgh to Rhode Island.
He's right, Mark. From Ridgeway, I just typed in Ridgeway to Rhode Island, it says just over 7 hours.
Wow.
I'd like to say, fuck you, Mark.
I would like to say I didn't know where that story was going because Rhode Island and Detroit are 11 hours apart. So.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we know John can't get, from point A to point B without, going fucking left field, right field.
It's never a straight line with him. It's never we get there, but it's never a goddamn straight line.
Straight lines are boring.
All right.
Oh. Go ahead, Mark.
I have nothing. I was just going to transition to segment 3, but go ahead, mention something.
I wanted to mention, we're all friends here and everything, and we agree sometimes and disagree sometimes, but this past week, a bunch of people put greetings and stuff on my Facebook page, happy birthday and shit.
I know where this is going.
And I want to give this person a shout out, but just because I think he should be banned from the show for this, possibly shot and quartered. His new nickname is, it's not just Pat Lupino, it's Fuck Pat Lupino now.
Remember though, this is your place to stay in October. So don't burn the bridge until after October.
And he put fucking a Kenny Omega gift on my Facebook page for my birthday. This, Pat, do you not realize how many weapons I have? I will shoot you.
Pat has pissed 2 of the Can Crushers off this week then as well, because I'll tell you a quick story before we head to segment 3 then. I'm umpiring a game Tuesday night, and you guys know I have an Apple Watch, and I'm just Apple all over. In the midst of the game, my watch is going apeshit crazy. So, in between pitches, I look at my watch, and there's a message from Pat, and it pops up because I twist my wrist, and he's like, "Your strike zone sucks." And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, my strike zone does not suck at that age level. And then I just start getting blasted. And then I realize, oh shit, Ridgeway's playing Kane. I put 2 and 2 together that his sister's got a child of some age, and it's got to be 9 or 10 now. This is all going through my mind. I look over and I see the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth in the stands. Then I see,
for those who don't know, Pat's dad's got long hair and a beard and looks like the Macho Man. So naturally, Mrs. Lupino is Miss Elizabeth. Go ahead, Mark.
Then I do connect eyes with Emily, his sister, and I run over, I say hi to them, and I let them know that, Pat is now texting me, and Emily's like, yeah, I know, I told him you were a home plate umpire. And he's just giving me shit the whole game from Maryland. So he's an asshole. So I agree with you. Fuck Pat Lupino. All right, that's the way that we're going to transition into segment 3 since nobody has anything else to say. Do you want to pile on Pat for 2 seconds, John, about anything? Come on.
No, I don't have a problem with the guy. I don't. Just before we go, I just want to say, was it 6 beers? Was it 6 IWC?
Oh, yes.
Since we usually grade it.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
It was definitely 6 beers. All right, when we come back, we got Love 'Em While We Have 'Em, and I don't know what else these guys have in the docket. I got nothing.
Hi, this is Julia Lynn, a.k.a. The Dime Piece, and you're currently listening to the Can Crushers podcast. I guess you should pay attention because, they asked me to be a part of it.
And welcome back, Can Crushers. It's I, the Glorious Guru, along with John the English Professor and Mark the Mark. What are we going to do here, guys? We're going to do predictions. We're going to just throw random shit out there. Another fuck Pat Lupino story. What?
No, let's do Love 'Em While We Have 'Em first. And then we'll wrap up the show with our double or nothing predictions. How about that?
Perfect.
That'll work.
John?
Mr. Perfect. Sorry.
All right. Do your shtick so Chad can think of somebody real quick.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting I do the intro. Yeah, so this is Love 'Em All We Have 'Em, an opportunity for us, the fans, to appreciate a pro wrestling personality while we still have this person with us rather than posthumously. Each week, one of us will bring a name to the table, and we, celebrate that person, talk about the good things pertaining to that person. I believe this week it is Chad's turn to bring a name to the table.
This one was easy for me. I've actually had Adam in mind since early in the week. Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
John, you want to go first?
Sure. We have met Ted DiBiase at least a couple of times. Really, really good guy. Excellent in the ring. Good technical worker. Great heel. Who could forget his stuff as, the $1 Million Man kicking the basketball away from the kid. And that wasn't the only one. That's the one that stands out. But there were several instances where he would pay somebody to do something and then kind of pull the rug out from under him just before they completed the task so that he didn't have to pay them. Better as a tag team wrestler than I would have imagined. Obviously his stuff with against Hulk Hogan, against the Macho Man, but teaming up with Andre the Giant, teaming up with IRS years later. Found out, through the movie 350 Days, he had some issues. A lot of wrestlers maybe sometimes turn to alcohol or painkillers, and he confessed that it wasn't that. He enjoyed getting together with other women. The guy was married, so that put a strain on his marriage, but they worked that out, and he's a good man of faith right now. Great guy to talk to. Yeah.
Ted DiBiase for me, if I'm going to rate him, he was always low main event status. And I don't mean it mean. He was above the mid card. He was much above the opening matches and everything for me. I loved his work prior to the $1 Million Man, but I think that $1 Million Man is what just rose him to fame. And I know you're like, no shit, Mark, but he was there. He was always around a title. Then he created the $1 Million Championship. His children, I love the championship. I love that it didn't mean anything on paper, but who didn't want $1 Million Championship at one time? It was really cool. John's brought up the things with Virgil and having Virgil getting kicked out and everything. And another film documentary that he has released of his own life is The Price of Fame. And he talks about more in depth in 350 Days about essentially with other women and how Christianity pretty much brought him back to his family because they were on a rocky road. So if you haven't seen either one of those, I would start with 350 Days first because you get kind of an overview of everything and then go into The Price of Fame. Both of them are on Amazon. You can rent them and watch them. It's a great rainy day show, documentary series for you guys to watch. But we met him a couple times, and a humble human being that really does love his fans. So great worker.
But then he could turn it on in the ring at a moment's notice. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that, can turn it on when he gets in the ring. Yeah, sure.
And as I said during the NXT segment, I think he's having the time of his life right now. After his career, in air quotes, just enjoying the wrestling business again.
And to just quickly expand on what you said as far as where he was maybe in Mid-South and the $1 Million Man thing put him on the map as a main event guy. To that point, not believable against Hulk Hogan. You never for a second thought he could beat Hulk Hogan, obviously. I mean, Hulk Hogan was this huge monster, and that's why, though, Ted DiBiase tried to find different routes. Well, I'll buy the belt from you, Hulk. Oh, Okay, you won't sell Andre. You beat him, then I'll buy it from you. I mean, that was just brilliant stuff. This is corny, but as a kid, we had a friend whose father was a pastor, and they would do that thing where, you stayed in the YMCA overnight and we'd play games. And, we had a pool tournament and I won. So I was a champion at pool, and I don't know, I might have been like ping pong or something, and I won that. And then there was a third game, and I just kept getting my ass kicked. And I wanted all 3 championships. I was so competitive. So I'd go and defend my championship at pool and win that again and win ping pong. But I couldn't win this other game that was like pool, but like with all those obstacles on the table. You know what I'm talking about? Like
it's called
like a smaller pool table.
It's called bumper pool.
Oh, okay, bumper pool. Yeah, thank you. Then I started to like offer the winner of that, $5 if he would let me win. And he said no. Then I raised, and in my mind, it became like a Ted DiBiase thing. Okay, next week I'm going to come back with more money. 2 minutes later, I came back, hey, look, I'll give you $10. I was like, no, you got to beat me. I never did beat him, and he never did sell out.
Nice. Chad?
But that was because of Ted DiBiase.
It was.
When I think, Ted, I think of how multifaceted comes to mind. He can, like you said, he wasn't the one that you would build an organization around as its superstar, but he was the one that the superstar wanted in the organization to build him. Mid-South wrestling, I would say one of the top 5 matches of all time, probably up there with the Rock and Roll Midnight with me as far as top match of all time. He wrestled Ric Flair. Earlier story, he got jumped by Dick Murdoch. Ted was a young guy. Murdoch busted him open. Flair was going to get the match by forfeit. DiBiase wrestled him. Just bleeding all over the fucking place. Just a hell of a match. The tag team partners that he had, both in the U.S. and in Japan, Dr. Death Steve Williams, Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen. You can catch some of that stuff on YouTube. He was just that damn good. And he earned the $1 Million Man spot. He paid his dues. He went through, the Southern wrestling, got the reputation, and then he earned the paycheck in the spot that he did. But he still delivered. He made Hogan look good. Him and Savage for the, I forget what WrestleMania it was, for the tournament for the title, the final match.
4, my favorite wrestling. Well, until overall, WrestleMania 4 is always my favorite. I love the tournament. All right, go ahead.
And I'm going to say this, and this is a plug for him, because I follow him on Instagram. He has a petition going. WWE does not officially recognize his his championship reign because he bought the title. And he was like, then how could you take it from Andre? How could you allow the sale but not allow the reign or recognize the reign? He actually has started up a petition. Go on there and help the guy out so he can get recognized.
Agreed. I'm signing that petition.
Get on there. You can get on his Facebook page, Instagram, wherever he has it. I have a distinct feeling that if he does get this recognized, he is going to be giving away a signed Wing Eagle replica belt. After this. I just seen that kind of mentioned, and I don't know, I see him doing it. And I'll just leave it with this. Of all the names announced so far for WrestleCade, and I don't see anybody beating him, he is the one I am looking forward to meeting the most. he is my first memory of pro wrestling. He was in Georgia Championship Wrestling. He was wrestling the original Freebirds. Can't remember who the hell his partners were. And he got like 13 pile drivers on the fucking concrete.
Wow.
And they kept getting up, and I'm like, this guy, they're going to fucking cripple him. They're going to cripple him. And this is where Tommy Wildfire Rich came in. This was prior to Ted being a prick, obviously, and him and Tommy Rich, and then they had a series match against whatever variations of the original Freebirds. Just, the dude is just classic. Just that's all there is to it.
Before you
He
say,
actually had some title defenses. Little known fact, Chad, you say to recognize that title reign, he had title defenses, probably to build up the fact that they ripped off Hulk Hogan and to piss off the fans to get them to tune into the next thing. But before Jack Tunney stripped him, he had title defenses during that, 2-3 week period.
and when you're on his Instagram and Facebook or wherever you're going to find him to sign this petition, he is now started selling coffee and coffee mugs. So I'm excited.
That's right.
I want to buy some coffee from him.
It sounds good. It really does. I'm telling you, I roasted coffee for 17 years, and you showed me his website, Mark, and I was still unclear if that's really the $1 Million Man or not, if that's his company. But the bag is like a silhouette of his tuxedo. It's really well done. But you get beyond that, you read about the coffee itself. It sounds really good. It sounds like he's getting some high-quality beans and doing a good job roasting them. I'm still curious to know if it's really Ted DiBiase behind this company.
It is. Yeah, my stamp.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, John, how do you end this?
So, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Cheers to being here, sir.
Cheers to being here. All right, it's time for Double or Nothing 2021, and we're going to run through the predictions as we see them, and hope and pray and everything else. There is one match on the pre-show, and it's going to be Serena Deeb defending the NWA Women's Championship against Rio. I will go first. This title's not changing hands.
Agreed. I think it's going to be a terrific match. Both of those women are great athletes. I think the title stays put.
Yep, unanimous.
Okay, somebody go back and listen because I don't want to get paper, and so we can find out who wins and loses this later on. Our bet, but you don't have to.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
Okay. I'm going by Wikipedia. All right, Wikipedia always writes the matches how I believe they have them in order. So that's the pre-show match. Number 2 match listed is Kenny Omega against Orange Cassidy and Pac. And I would be all right if this is first, because essentially I don't care about this match. There's a couple matches I don't care about. This is one of them. So, Chad, we'll let you go first since you are a huge Kenny Omega fan. Thank you, Pat.
Fuck you, Pat and Mark. My heart, I would love to see Pac win this, but Twinkle Toes is going to win, and it's going to be after Pac destroys Pocket and Kenny can pin him.
John?
Yeah, no disagreement from me. I can't see how Omega does not win.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. My pick would have been just for a brief segment since the kids think he's cool. I would go with Orange Cassidy if I had somebody to pick. But it's going to be Omega. Match number 3, written in order, is Hikaru Shida taking on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Rebel for the AEW Women's Championship. Let's sugarcoat, not sugarcoat this. This title's made for Britt right now.
New champ. That's what I say.
New belt introduced. On Dynamite this week, new champ.
Yep. So we're all just...
So far, we're all winning.
We are all winning. Or all losing. But we don't lose.
We're all winning.
We're all winning.
That's right.
The match that, besides Omegas, that I could give two shits about, Cody Rhodes against Anthony Ogogo. I don't care.
This match just has no traction. Reading stuff online, there doesn't seem to be anybody that's into this, unfortunately. I think Anthony Ogogo wins.
Can I vote? I don't give a shit.
I did that.
I don't care. But if you got to pick a winner, with Ogogo having an shoulder injury, I believe it is being reported. I think Cody's going to win this, because if he doesn't, you can't even beat a guy that's a rookie that's fucking injured. I think Cody wins this.
John and I talked about this on the way to wrestling. If Ogogo loses, that hurts this whole push. If Cody wins, what's it really do? But if Cody loses, essentially Cody has no traction in his own promotion whatsoever. I have to go with Ogogo, though.
But that creates, a certain level of conflict. Like, whoever loses, it's bad for that person. And yet, just nobody cares about this match. And I can't put my finger on why. I don't think it's Cody. I think Cody is Cody. I think Anthony Ogogo has been thrown into something way too big, way too soon. We don't know enough about the guy to really care about this match.
Right. That's a great point. The Casino Battle Royal, I'm not listing everybody that's in it. I want two things out of you guys. One, predict a winner. And then there's always the Joker. Who could the Joker be? So who do we think the Joker is going to be first?
Well, if you go by the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman movie, the Joker was named Jack Napier. If you go by some different versions, he's like a failed comedian whose wife died, and he snaps and becomes a Joker. So it just depends which version, you're watching or reading.
So you have no guess.
I not yet.
Who's been released by WWE we haven't heard from?
I don't know.
That's going to be your wild card. I don't know I can't think off the bat somebody other than Andrade that had been released.
Is his time up though?
Oh, Andrade's is, yeah.
Okay.
Because he's wrestling.
Soon.
Del Rio. God, I wish I could remember who it is. Who's gonna win it? Oh fuck, I don't. How about the guy from the first one that they had that didn't have any legs?
Oh wow! All right. I don't even remember his name. I'm gonna go. I actually have a real winner to this. I think this is where Christian gets the win, and he gets.
Oh, I was just gonna say that.
This is where he gets his shot, and kind of gets something going on in AEW. And I've been the one poo-pooing Christian since he's come over to AEW, but I think this is where he gets his shot. The twist of being who the hell the Joker is, I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever. I'll look around the room and say, oh my God, who could it be? Does Mr. Anderson come back for a quick shot? Did Duke the Dumpster Drosy come by? I have the slightest idea who's going to pop in and maybe be a one-off or something. I don't know.
I just remember two guys that have been released that we haven't heard anything from. Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe.
Touche.
Your wild card is going to be one of them. I take
and
back.
Who did you pick to win, Chad?
I jokingly said the guy with no legs, but
That's right.
I
have
don't
some
know. I'm
names
going to
here.
copy Mark just to be a dick. Christian.
All right. I'm going to mix it up here. I'm going to go with Isaiah Cassidy.
Wow. All right. Do you have a prediction of who? Besides your Joker
shows
shtick?
up?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Charlotte's boyfriend. I don't know what the hell's his name.
Andrade.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's not going to be that big of a name. I honestly don't know. I really don't know. You know, they've tried to take some names. They try to promise a big surprise, and sometimes it's kind of a letdown. I don't think it's going to be a huge star.
Yeah. Hangman against Brian Cage. I'm excited for this match. I really am. I want to see the guys really do. I know Page isn't a big man, but I think that this could be a big man match. Page gets the win for me.
Which Page?
All right.
One's Page and one's Cage. So it would be Hangman.
My bad. I was thinking Chris. Never mind.
Who wins for you?
I'm going to say Adam Page. I think this is going to be a very, very physical match.
Just to mix it up, then I'm going to say Cage.
Okay.
It's all pointing to Cage losing, and then breaking away from Team Taz. But I think another possible twist is Cage wins, and Page is like, look, you don't need those guys. You beat me. And they, one way or another, I think these guys team up following this. But I think Cage needs the win more here.
Miro taking on Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. I think Lance Archer wins the title from him already.
I don't. I think Miro hangs on to it.
I think Jake turns on Archer and Miro wins.
I like that. Oh, man, I like that.
Interesting.
Stadium Stampede. Stipulation is if the Inner Circle loses, they have to disband forever. We kind of see some of that. That means they won't lose, but I'm going to go the other way. I think this is time for the Inner Circle to disband. Give Sammy his own thing. Jericho can be by himself. And why can't Pride and Powerful Santana Ortiz get a legit title run? Because I'd love to see them as champs. So I'm going Pinnacle.
Interesting. I'm still sticking with the Inner Circle. You make great points, but I'm sticking with the Inner Circle.
I'm going to go with the Pinnacle because I think that it's if the Inner Circle wins, we do not want to see another fucking match like that steel cage shit that they had. The feud will never end. Let's just end it for a while at least. The Pinnacle.
Sting and Darby against Scorpio and Sky, and this is a normal tag team match. What are we going to get out of Sting? First legit
against Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you said against Scorpio and Sky. You meant Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, yeah, all of them. I think Darby and Sting kind of get into a fuss here, and Page and Sky get the win.
No, I'm going with Sting and Darby.
I gotta go with Sting and Darby.
Okay, nice. And another one of Chad's favorites, the Young Bucks defending the tag team championships against Moxley and Kingston. I think we get new tag team champions.
Yep. This is one match where I'm going to go against my heart. My heart tells me the Bucks win, but I love Eddie Kingston. I like John Moxley. I want to see them as champions.
Yeah, I think these guys, I'm like John, going with my heart a little bit on this, or going against it, I should say. But I think Kingston and Moxley are going to get him. I don't think for a long title reign, but I think they're going to get the belts back because there's some other developments that are going to bring in other tag teams. We can talk about real quick after this. That this would just make sense right now.
Yeah. So, all right. Shout out if you guys have not seen our hometown boys and gals, or boy and gal, got their figure. Wardlow and Britt. Next series, get their AEW figures. And if you haven't seen them, check them out online. They look amazing. Britt's actually getting one of those signature specialty type of ones, and Wardlow's getting one. But I haven't bought figures in a while. I'll be buying those.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely deserving for both of them. Can't wait till they come out.
Yeah. I'm going to order them online because Britt said find them in your local Walmart or Target soon.
Yeah, good luck with that.
St. Mary's hasn't gotten Series 1 yet. Just throwing that out there. All right, what tag teams you want to bring up real quick? We got like 2 minutes.
Well, you got the thing Tony Khan put out that the roster of AEW is going to be expanding by like 50% or something like that. He's bought Impact. Don Callis is gone. He's been officially removed from everything and stuff like that. There's no reason to have Omega have that title other than the TV exposure. Tony Khan's bought that, so you're going to see, whether you like them or not, you're going to see the tag teams from Impact coming in. You got the Good Brothers, you got Finn Juice, Eddie Edwards is back in. You got that going along.
I like it the other way. I like the women that get brought in from Tasha Steelz, Kiera Hogan, Dashwood, Jordan Grace. I think that only bolsters that division and puts it pretty close to NXT's then. Because NXT's is probably the best women out there right now. No disrespect to the Four Horsewomen, but then after you get past the Four Horsewomen, there's a subtle drop. John, nothing.
Nah. Agree with you guys.
Oh. All right.
Big. Now, come on. There was a couple of quick things. Big controversy this week. Jim Ross was asked in an interview, outside of wrestling interview, who he thought the best wrestler was, and he said Randy Orton. Evidently, that's caused him to get some shit in AEW, and Twinkle Toes and his, two little fucking Smurfs have hopped on Ross and said some, kind of ignorant shit. If there's anybody fucking out there that thinks that Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in wrestling today, this is not just my hatred for him. He is not even fucking close.
No, he's not. He's not.
Top fucking 20 at best. There was a reason, and I looked this up and I thought of John on this one, because, John, you mentioned this before. Kevin Nash, when he was the WWF champion, was the lowest, what is it? Not rated. Earning champion. People just didn't want to see him. This is what Kenny Omega was in New Japan, that they took the title from him after one defense in the U.S. and one against some blow-up doll with a heartbeat in Japan, and they had him lose the title. He's just not a draw. He wasn't a draw over there, and they're pushing him too much here. There's a difference between getting heat as a rule breaker and a dick, and then there's the Kenny Omega heat, which is like, you're not fucking good. You're not good.
I agree.
Remember, John, just because you're trash,
it doesn't mean you can't do great things. Chad?
Called a garbage can, not a garbage can Omega not.
Jesus.